PowerPoint here. Again, type questions in, and I'm going to mute everybody right now. Type questions in, and then if I don't see them, like, you can yell at me later. But I'm going to just keep rolling and go through the PowerPoint here. So we did the deals. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the intro because I know we're all at home and this is different. So I want to just move us along quicker. But I do thank you all for being here. I think this is a great idea to keep these ideas flowing, to keep the networking going, and keep our businesses running. As we're unable to get together in this business, I think it's more vital now that we do these type of meetings. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you about a meeting, a wholesaling workshop that I'm going to do online this Friday. I'll tell you about that later. But this is an important time. We gotta put our foot on the gas for our businesses. You can't sit back and wait for the government to tell you what to do. You're going to be sad if you wait around. So now's the time to get to work. So I always want to ask, what is your agenda when you come into these meetings? This is different. I know this is weird, but hey, we're here. We're all together. You're here listening for a reason. Every one of you that are on this call took this time, set aside this time for a reason. You're not just here just to hang out. And I want to implore you to figure out what that reason is. And you know what? You're probably sitting at a desk or something. Write it down. Write down why you're sitting here. Write down the reason you're listening to this call, because that's your meat. That's what you're doing here. And let's figure out ways that you can move on that, take action on that, make sure that what you're here for, you're getting. Okay. So I don't know what that is: buying a house, flipping a house, wholesaling, whatever it is, write it down. And I want to tell you that, you have an agenda. You're here for a reason, and I'm here for a reason as well. We're here to make sure we get together, make good contacts, essentially get some good deals done. And when I bring in people like Thompson from Nashville, who's got an incredible business going, I learned too. So I'm excited to hear from him. And so that's what I'm looking forward to, and hearing from you guys and all those deals. I see probably, 10 deals out there, great properties that I will probably look up and try to see if they make sense for us. That's the reason I'm here. I want to get in front of these deals, see them first, see them with all you guys, be able to jump on them if they're good for me. So that's where I'm here. And I want to tell you guys, and I was telling Freddie's this, and Freddie, you can wave your hand over there on YouTube, but that my goal in this REI Live seat is to help people get started, help you guys get started or get to that next level. If you've done 1, 2, 3, 4 deals, it's possible. So let's move you to the next step. If you haven't done a deal and you're here, you're learning, you're trying to get started, don't know where to start, that's what we want to do. And that's what I want to help you with. So you got my email, use it, call me. We do have a strategy session link so that you can sign up and we'll talk for 20 or 30 minutes just to figure out where you need to go next. But the thing that's kind of driving me right now is in this group is I feel like there's so many resources. There's so many things, so many places you can go, like Facebook, YouTube, University. There's so many books. But if you don't have action steps, if you don't have a plan, you're never going to get started. You're never going to move to the next step. So I want to be there to help you do that. Because if you don't have somebody help you take that action step or put it in place, then you'll never do it. And I would have never done it if I didn't have good luck when I first started, and then a book and a mentor to help me go to the next step, So I want to help you guys do that. If you need help, let me know, raise your hand, email, whatever it is. Because this is an opportunity to change your life. It's changed our life. And I know it can change everyone else's life in this group. So I want to be just completely open and honest with you, and sincere as I can be, so that you will take my advice and let me help you if you need it. So, it may not be me that helps, but somebody in this group. The whole point of the group is to put that in place. So somebody in this group can help you. here's our upcoming events, and just jot that down. You know what? We'll have Meredith, if you don't mind sending those out just in that email, just so everybody has them. All right, guys. So our sponsors put these together. They help us put all this on. They help pay for the wonderful hotel room that's sitting empty right now. So I do want to just mention everyone that's on this page here. All of their links are on our website, the reilivecolumbia.com. They're also on the YouTube page at the bottom, and you should be able to find them on Facebook. It's kind of harder on Facebook, but reilivecolumbia.com. They're there, and they're all part of our community, and they can help you with some of the things that you need. So Modern Woodmen Fraternal Financial, that's our newest, and Richard is, I don't know if he's in this call or not, but great group, great guy. They do financial services, life insurance. They've shown me some really cool products that they can help with real estate investors. So all the other ones you've seen before. If you need their contact info, let me know. So I do want to just leave it there. There's our website. Do we have any questions real quick? I want to go back. Babe, was there any questions on YouTube before we bring Tag in?
Will you just say for YouTube people that they need to make sure that they say hi so that we can know they're here?
Oh yeah, totally forgot. Guys, for the iPad, you know, if you show up at 4 of the first 6 meetings, you get in the drawing for the iPad. So we are taking the group chat from YouTube and Zoom, so we have everybody's name that showed up and commented. So make sure you say something, say hi, say happy St. Patrick's Day, I got my green on, whatever it is, say it so that we can basically count you here present. You can just say here, but just do that so we can count you present. And if you're not wearing green, I'm going to pinch you.
Brianna might have something.
What's she have?
I don't know. Freddie said to ask Brianna.
What?
Brianna. Freddie said you might have a deal to share. You got something to sell?
Well, we supposed to already have it under contract. It's out in Sumter, and it's for, and if we can find somebody for 15, that'll be good. But we already got somebody for 15 though. But it's always good to have a backup offer just in case. But it is out in Sumter if there's any buyers in a group that are looking for Sumter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sumter's not a bad spot for rentals. Really good economy over there with hardworking folks.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So any other questions, comments? All right. Tag, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All
right, guys. So Tag Thompson is in Nashville, and he's sequestered there. He's also quarantined, just like the rest of us. So Tag has been gracious enough to come on today, share a little bit about his story, how he got started, how he ended up in 7 or how many markets now, Tag?
We're in 9 markets.
Oh, wow. So I think it was 7 in November. So 9 markets.
Yeah.
And so how he's growing it so fast, how he's doing it from home, and which is great because we're all doing it from home right now. We're all virtual, but how is this business able to grow for him? What are some of the key quote secrets that he's using to help him do that? And so I'm going to let him kind of go with it. I'm going to throw some questions at him. If you guys have questions, write them in the comments, and then I'll facilitate them for you. And then if you want to, or if we need a back and forth, I can unmute you for that. But Tag, I'm going to let you go for it, and
right.
I'm going to make you a co-host so that you should be able to control and share your screen.
All right. You need to unshare your screen before I can share mine.
All right.
So I hate to correct you, but Nashville wishes that I was from Nashville.
Oh,
I'm actually in Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Most people, Nashville's kind of the main city here. So, I'm in Chattanooga, which is kind of a tier 3 city. We've got about 250,000 people in kind of like the southeast corner of the state. I started in real estate, just doing some random flips, probably like 6 or 7 years ago. Honestly, just for like myself, we'd move into a house and flip it to sell. I've been an entrepreneur for a very, very long time. I've started, purchased, and sold 13 businesses. And, I kind of, like most entrepreneurs, I kind of lived my life without a safety net. I was just out there doing, starting businesses, trying to get them off the ground, trying to sell them. And started a bunch. Some of them were successful. And then I had one gigantic failure. Like enormous, like life-altering financial calamity failure of a business, and so I had this pretty huge business failure, like the whole thing, like bankruptcy, and so I ended up taking a job at a wealth management firm as a COO. Luckily, I've got a good education and a good background, so I was able to get a job after that. But realized very quickly that I hated it. I hated being at a desk all day. I hated, kind of corporate America. I just really, really didn't like it. And a buddy of mine, David Olds, who's my mentor and now my business partner, I knew what he did. I knew kind of what wholesaling was. I always asked him, peppered him with tons of questions. We went on trips together and just always wanted to know what this wholesaling thing was. And I saw a big opportunity there to be able to scale a business. I mean, wholesaling, especially if you can do it virtually, man, you can literally scale it indefinitely. You can just keep going because there's an almost indefinite number of cities. So 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, actually 3 years ago this month, I convinced him to let me come into his business and to let us scale. Because he had Chattanooga fairly well cornered. He was doing pretty well in Chattanooga. And for me to come in, I had to be able to expand our market outside of there. And at the time, there really wasn't, like, there were a few people that did virtual wholesaling, but just a few. There was no courses. There was one book out there about how to do it. But that's about it. So we kind of had to figure it out on our own. The first place we tried to go was St. Louis, and we failed miserably because we didn't understand the market. So we failed in St. Louis, and then we failed in Birmingham. We tried to go to Birmingham and failed to go virtually. Then we tried to go to Las Vegas because it was the hottest real estate market in the country. Failed in Las Vegas, like most people do. We failed in Vegas and kind of tucked our tail a little bit. And a year and a half ago, we kind of had a little shakeup in our company and restructured a lot of stuff. And at that point, we really started to hit our stride. Once we understood how to analyze a market that's good for wholesaling virtually in, because it's different than just a good market. And then it was trying to figure out all the other problems that go on with virtual wholesaling. But we started in 3 other cities, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we're in 9 different cities around the country. And then we're not doing 10 deals in every market. Some months we do 2 or 3 deals per market. Chattanooga, our home market, we do about 10 deals a month. But so we did 143 deals last year, and we're on pace to double that this year so far. For us, you messaged, we talked earlier, you asked me if I'd ever done a Zoom call, and yeah, we do tons of them. When you run a virtual company that's as big as ours, man, I'm on Zoom all day long. We're on Skype all day long. We're on Hangouts all day long because people are everywhere. We've got people in 9 different cities that we have to communicate with, every single day. So if you're not comfortable with technology, I would suggest not getting the virtual wholesaling, because you have to use a lot of that stuff to your advantage. And man, what a perfect time to get into virtual wholesaling. You're stuck at home anyway, so you might as well get outside of your normal market. So one of the big things, the kind of thing we're going to talk about tonight, is one of the biggest problems we had when we started to scale is, I don't lock up deals anymore. I've got acquisition managers that do that. But how do you train somebody else to know how much to offer for a property? Can somebody unmute, or maybe Andrew, if somebody wants to tell me what's kind of the traditional formula to get to a maximum allowable offer? Does anybody know what it is? And I'll switch screens here for just a second.
Yeah, I can tell you, just to make it easy,
the
traditional maximum allowable offer is that ARV times 0.7 gets you what the flipper wants to be all in, and then minus repairs, minus your profit.
Minus repairs, minus profit.
If there's anybody out there that has a different formula, feel free to unmute yourself and let us know.
That's pretty much it. Can you guys see this okay? Is it coming through all right? Yeah,
it's good.
Okay. So yeah, this is pretty much what everybody does in the country. Some places in the country will do 0.6 or 0.65, depending on the market you're in. But this is it. And this was my problem with this formula, especially when you're trying to teach someone else how to do it. That number, the after repair value, is a guess, right? If I were to get 3 realtors in a room, tell them the address of a property, and say, give me the ARV of that property, I would get three different numbers. Now, they might only vary by $10,000 to $20,000, but that's a big variance on a small deal. So that is a guess, right? So the other thing that bothered me was this number here, because I'm not a contractor. None of my guys are contractors. We don't ever actually go into the houses to see what the repairs need to be. We never meet sellers anymore. Everything we've done is done online. So how in the world can I estimate repairs appropriately? So that is another guess. So this really bothered me because the math on this is I'm going to multiply a guess times 0.75 and then subtract another guess from that number and then subtract my profit, which that's the only number we know concretely what it is. The other ones we're just guessing at. And you can get some deals that way. You absolutely can. But you can also get yourself in trouble because, again, you're guessing. You're guessing what the ARV is going to be, and you're guessing what the repairs are going to be. I tried to teach my acquisition people how to do this. They really, really struggled because they always wanted the ARV to be higher than it really was, and they always wanted the repairs to be lower than they actually were. And this is the problem you see. One of the problems that we struggle with as newer wholesalers. I don't as much anymore, but newer wholesalers really struggle with understanding what these numbers are. So in my company, we developed a tool. It's called Let's Go Offer. I think Andrew's going to post a link for you guys in just a second. Let me switch back to. So yeah, so we created a product in our own company. It wasn't something that we were going to sell or even really share, but we created this product simply out of this frustration, a frustration of guessing so much. We wanted something to be a little more solid. So had some developers come in and help create this tool that we used in our company for a year before we showed it to anybody. A solid year, we used this tool and didn't show it to anybody, didn't ask anybody's opinion. And then somebody came to me and said, hey, this would be really, really helpful for other wholesalers, especially newer wholesalers or even wholesalers that have a lot of acquisition managers. So I'll kind of demo the product for you. and kind of let you see it. So this is Go Offer. And again, it's a tool that helps you get to an offer immediately. You know, I did this with a couple of people who are pretty highly respected in the industry, with Brent Daniels, with Alex Youngblood, with some of the guys that have been around for a long time and they're considered experts in the field. And they each manually kind of went in and got to their maximum allowable offer. So they did all the research themselves. They looked up the comps, they estimated repairs, they did all that. And on average, it took them 7 minutes per property to look up how much they would offer. And with this, you can get to it within seconds. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit. And I grabbed a couple of the properties that you guys put in the comments link just to see what they were. So here's this one on Alston Road. And I don't know anything about this house or anything about this area, but you just type in the address and pull it up, click search, and then you're going to define the condition of the house. So what kind of condition is it in? Is it in great condition? Is it in good condition? Is it okay? Is it poor? Or is it a house that just needs to be torn down? So you select a condition. Let's say this one, let's say it's in okay condition. You can see it will immediately give you a range that you're going to offer the seller for this. And I'll talk to you about the tactic of how to use that range in just a minute. But you'll see it gave you a range. And then below that, you'll see it gave you comps in that area to kind of let you know what other houses are going for that property. And you can click on any of these comps, and it'll pull that property up in Zillow, so you can see kind of what you're comparing it to. So it will do that for you on every property you put in. So you'll see that was probably a lot that sold for $8,000, but then you've got some investment properties here in $20,000, $55,000, and they go on up into retail. So it gives you comps that will support this range. So the next thing you'll see is there's this little toggle button down here right below it. And I'm not sure about Columbus. Andrew, have you guys tested this out? Like, are you guys conservative up there or probably more aggressive?
No, we're mostly in the conservative area. The zip code might put us in aggressive, like a 29201 or a 29205 zip code, or 29206.
Yeah.
Mostly we're conservative.
Mostly conservative. Okay. So for this property, the way this works is if you lock up this property between $22,000 and $30,000, it assumes that you're going to make between $10,000 and $20,000 on your assignment fee. So, and that just depends on how good your buyer's list is and how good you are at selling. So I'm not sure what this property was out there for. I'm going to go back and see who put this one in. Alston. Is that Alston? Sorry. Alston Road. So they listed this one at, I think, 64. I don't really know what they put it under contract for, or necessarily what condition it's in. And whoever put that one out, if you wanted to comment on it, that'd be fine. But for me, we'd probably want to get that property at about $30,000. And you could list it anywhere from, 40 to 50 and make good money. If the property is in a little better condition, let's say it's in good condition, again, the meter will go up depending on that. And what this does when you're not, all the math that it does, it backbones into MLS. It obviously pulls from Zillow and ePraisals and pretty much any place that we can pull data about a particular property. And it finds any property that has similar parameters. So all the way down to, does this have a driveway? All right, let's see what other houses have driveways. So it's not just a square footage comparable. It looks for any comparable data for any comparable property. And then it discounts it appropriately for the condition that it's in. So we had that one. We had this one on Morning Hill that we looked up. This one looks, I have no idea about it, but let's say it's in good condition.
Hey, Tag,
yeah.
real quick. that price is the price, that range would be where you would offer the seller, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And then what is there like a built-in profit margin number or percentage? What does that
Yeah,
look?
so it's built in to give you anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 in profit. And the reason it's 10 or 20, every wholesaler has a different set of buyers. Every wholesaler has kind of a different skill set in selling properties. Some people are just really good at pushing the number up. But there's at least $10,000 of profit built into that number.
Perfect.
So, and I'll show you why there's a range in a minute. I know that can be a little confusing, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So yeah, this property on Morning Hill, good condition. We would have wanted to lock it up between 55 and 75. And I'm not sure. I think it was listed at 75, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Morning Hill, 85. So they listed at 85. So again, there's built in $10,000 in profit on that, even if they had gotten it at $75,000. So let me walk you through the script of how you use this. So we'll skip kind of the how to get into the conversation and go straight to giving the offer. So what you say is, hey, Mr. Smith, it looks like houses in this neighborhood, they're selling between $55,000 and $63,000. Does that sound about right to you? And I know that's different. I know a lot of people kind of their main thing they want to say is don't ever give a number first. Well, we found that there are so Am I back? Good. Okay. So there are so few people out there that don't know what their property is. Most people aren't going to give you a low ball selling price as sellers. They're just not. I mean, I've been doing this a very long time. It's only happened to me once that the seller gave me a price that was less than I was going to pay for the house. So for us, we do this range anchoring. So I say, Mr. Smith, it looks like houses in this neighborhood in that condition are selling between $35,000 and $43,000. Does that sound about right? So instead of anchoring them to kind of a lowball offer or going straight to the top one, we give them a range. And the reason we do that is this. One of the best tactics I have with acquisitions negotiation is what I call getting on the same side of the table. Because there's going to come a point where you don't want to be negotiating against a seller. You want to negotiate with a seller. So I'm going to say that little script again. Mr. Smith, it looks like houses like yours in this neighborhood are selling between $35,000 and $43,000. Does that sound about right? And if he says, well, no, that doesn't necessarily sound about right. Well, then you go, remember those comps that were listed on Let's Go Offer? Then you can say, hey, do you know where 7th Avenue is? Well, yeah, it's right around the corner. All right, Mr. Smith, we got a house on 7th Avenue. It just sold for 33. There was another one that sold for $40,000. So that's kind of what things are going for in that neighborhood. Does that make sense? So you're wanting, your whole goal in this part of negotiation before you get to a solid offer is to get them aligned with that range. I tell my acquisition people, we're not talking about a specific price. We're not making a commitment until they agree that that range is accurate. Because a seller's biggest fear is leaving money on the table. And if you can get them to agree with you that that range is accurate for houses in this neighborhood, then you're all set. That's all you gotta do. You don't even have to give them a number yet. As soon as you can get them to agree that the houses in that neighborhood are worth about that much, you will lock up deals. It just will happen. So once you get them to agree with you that houses in that neighborhood are selling for about that much, then now we're going to do a little trick. We're going to get on the same side of the table, the negotiating table with them. And once they agree with you that houses sell for about that much, you're going to do this. You're going to say, all right, Mr. Smith, well, I think we can probably make this work. let me go and talk to my partner really quick, and let me see what the most I can get you for this house is. Hope you saw what I did there. All right. So instead of telling me the most that I can give you, you're saying, let me see what the most I can get you for this house is. So now you're on the same side of the table negotiating against your partner. Some of you have a partner, some of you don't. Your dog can be your partner. Your spouse can be your partner. You know, you can walk into the bathroom and maybe there's a partner in the mirror. You've got a partner. So you're going to tell the seller, all right, let me go talk to my partner and see what the most I can get you for this property is. So you're getting on the same side of the negotiation table with them so that when you come back, they feel like you're actually fighting for them. So you're going to call them back 10 minutes later and say, hey, I talked to my partner. You know, maybe it was my dog. But anyway, they don't even know that. I talked to my partner, and I tried to get you as close as I could to that 42 number, but he said the most we could do was $38,000, really because of the condition or the neighborhood, or insert whatever their particular pain point is on this property. You know, because like you said, the neighborhood's pretty bad, so we really couldn't get up to 42. But he said we could do 30, you know, 38 or 35, whatever. Does that sound good to you? So you're going to continually come back and just ask for affirmation from them. You just want them to say, okay, yes. And a lot of times they won't. They'll say, oh no, I just can't do that. Do you think you could get me 40 for it? I don't know. Let me go talk to my partner again. I can probably get it done, but you know, I'll see what I can do. So you're negotiating from the same side of the table. You're not fighting against them. You're not trying to push them down or get them to come up. I mean, it's just you're literally from the same side of the table trying to get into an agreement about how much this house is worth and how much you can get for them. So hopefully that makes sense. Get on the same side of the table with the seller and stop trying to negotiate against them. Negotiate with them. You got to have $40,000. Let me see what I can do. Well, I can't do $40,000, but you know, I could probably get, you know, I don't want to say this right now, but I could probably get him to pay for all the closing costs, and that would get you really up to your 42 number, or you're up to your $40,000 number if we're at 38. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, if I can get him to agree with that, will you sign a contract today? Okay, we can do that. I'm telling you guys, this tactic works. My team uses it all day long. Use that range to get into an agreement before you start negotiating, and then get on the same side of the table with somebody and negotiate against a partner to get them the best price. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So, oops, sorry. So this is the tactic that works. I don't know who said it. Ryan said, kind of like a car salesman tactic. You are absolutely right. Anybody in here not drive a car? No, I don't think so. Everybody drives a car because car salesmen are good at it. But yeah, it is. It's a mental tactic to get someone to do them. If they didn't want to sell their house to you, they wouldn't. We're just trying to speak to their objections, to speak into their pain and solve the problem for them. So yeah, so that's it. You guys saw the product. It's very, very simple. You probably talked to somebody that uses it already. If not, give it a shot. There's a 7-day free trial. Test it out in your market wherever you are, and give it a shot. I'd love to hear your feedback on it as well. But yeah, that's the product. So
Tag, I appreciate that. And guys, I hope you were paying attention. The Go Offer, the website, it's phenomenal. We've actually been using it for months now, and it's like, and Meredith, if she's on here, she can tell you it's a lifesaver. It just streamlines everything, and we can do it with confidence because we tested it for a couple months and realized that those numbers were accurate. But I'll tell you, you know, what Tag was giving you here, what he was dropping, those nuggets of how to negotiate with your partner and how to use the range to get on the same side of the table with the seller. You don't have to use that tool to do that. Like, you do that anyway. Find your range and work it. This tool just makes it a lot easier and gives you a lot more confidence when you go in there. but those tips with negotiation, those strategies, they work all of the time. Tag as an example, they work so well, he's doing it in 9 different cities. So and doing it from his, probably that chair right there, I'm sure that's your working chair. So he's probably got a lot of miles on that one. So guys, those things that he just shared with you, it's gold. It is gold. Use it. Write it down so that you can remember it. But get in front of that seller and use that range, use that negotiation, those tactics, so that you can close the deal. The ultimate goal is to help the seller. They're calling you because they need help. They need to sell that house quicker, more efficiently than other ways. So help them out. All right.
Awesome. Before you go on, somebody asked a great question. Can you see my screen? I tried to share it. Yeah. So somebody asked, how do you put the condition in? So on the website, there's a list of how to define a condition. And it's very, very simple. A property really can't fit into 2 categories. There's also video walkthroughs of properties that are in that condition. So if you don't necessarily know what it looks like, you can actually see a property. So those are very, very helpful. And once you kind of know those, it's really, really simple to talk to a seller and get to that condition, because the reality is most rehabs are about 5 different things. It doesn't matter what color the paint is. It doesn't matter what color the drapes are. You're really talking about major systems. So once you know what those major systems are, you can put it into one of those categories. So it's pretty simple. You just say, Mr. Seller, can tell me a few things about the property? Have you done any major updates in the last 5 years? No. Okay. Well, tell me about the roof. Is the roof, is it less than 5 years old? No. Okay. Well, probably gonna need a new roof soon. So you ask questions about specific major systems: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roof, and foundation. Those are your 5 things. If those are all in great shape, then it's a good property. If a couple of them need a little work, it's probably okay. If a lot of them need a lot of work and it's like someone can't live in it, then it's a poor condition property. If the property needs to be torn down, then it's a lot value property. So it's very simple. My guys can ask really about 4 questions and they know exactly which category to put it into. Don't overcomplicate that. You're honestly just giving a seller more chances to lie to you about the condition of the property. And when you're operating virtually, that's a big issue. If you get too detailed with the condition of the property, because they'll start to lie to you and you just don't want to deal with that. So talk about those major systems and put it into one of those categories and it will work.
Yeah, great tip. So does anyone have any questions for Tag? There's some been coming through and I think we've caught them in the comments, but if you have any more, you can unmute yourself or write them in the comments. I'll give you just a minute for that. While you guys are thinking about that, Tag, I had a couple questions. So someone that's just getting started in wholesaling, or not necessarily wholesaling, but they're direct to seller buying. They may be a flipper or a landlord, but they are marketing, so they're talking direct to seller. What would be, how would you suggest they get started?
So we have a couple of rules in my company. The first rule is never give an offer until the seller likes you. And that's a hard and fast rule. We will not give someone an offer until they like us. So that's the first thing I tell you. Don't do it. Like, don't give an offer until they like you. But balance that out with giving a lot of offers, because the more offers you give, the more deals you get. But try to hold off on throwing a number out until they like you. I'm telling you, that will change the game for you. The second rule has something to do with it. And I didn't come up with this. I actually think it was Tom Kroll that told me about it. My acquisition managers are not allowed to talk about the house for 11 minutes. And that's difficult to do when you're strictly over the phone. But if you get good at that, you will kill it, because nobody can have a conversation for 11 minutes without liking you. And if they like you, they will sell to you. So take your time. Don't rush to talk about the property. Don't get right into it and say, oh, it looks like you wanted to sell 123 Main Street. Can you tell me something about it? Like, avoid that like the plague. The only question we talk about the property in those first 11 minutes is, tell me how you got this property. That's the only way you're allowed to even mention the property in the first 11 minutes. Because then you can bounce off of that and say, oh, are you looking for more rental properties? When we buy this one, like, how are you going to reinvest those funds? So just talk to them, oh, it's down there off Market Street. Yeah, I grew up on Chamberlain. I went to such and such high school. Did your kids go to school over there? Like, just get into the conversation. Don't jump straight to the price. So that's it. And that's great for a new wholesaler because you don't have a ton of opportunities to be in front of sellers. My company, we process about 400 leads a week. So, we've got a ridiculous amount of opportunities to get in front of people. But when you're newer, you just don't have that. You might have 1 to 2 to 3 opportunities a week. So don't waste it by jumping right to the price. Take your time, really develop that rapport and get them to like you. Because I promise you, if they like you, they will sell to you. I learned this very early on, and I still do it today. Every now and then I'll go out and I'll actually do an appointment with a seller. I'll get on the phone with the seller and try to lock up a deal. And I know that I can do it. Like, even if all my acquisition managers left and if it was just me again, I could get more deals today because I've gotten very good at just having a conversation. Like, I can BS with the best of them. Just have that conversation. And when you feel like you're in flow, once you feel like you're in sync with the seller, then start talking about the property. Not before then. Wait till you're in that conversation and they like you. So that's probably my top 2.
Yeah, that was great. And Meredith, I hope you're listening there since you fielded our calls first. That was great tip. And that's something that I try to do myself is don't talk about the property. Let them bring the property up. Let them, when they're tired of talking about their dogs and their cats and kids and the street they grew up on, then they'll bring it up. So that's a great tip. We did have a question from Freddie's about the cons and the challenges, but I wanted to get kind of specific. So you failed in some pretty good markets. St. Louis, a lot of high volume wholesalers there. Birmingham as well. Las Vegas, I don't know about wholesalers, but I know there's a big market of real estate there. So you said you didn't do well there. So what would you tell people not to do? I feel like you learned it to finally jump off. So
yeah. So the mistake we made was we analyzed those markets the same way we analyzed ours. And Chattanooga is not St. Louis. Chattanooga is not Las Vegas. It's not Birmingham. So like in St. Louis, the difference between that and Chattanooga is in Chattanooga, we live on the bottom. Like, there isn't a neighborhood in Chattanooga where there isn't investment opportunities. Like, there's just not. There's really no war zones here. There's no places here where you can't sell an investment property. But in St. Louis, there's huge areas, massive neighborhoods with hundreds, maybe thousands of houses in them that literally nobody will touch, no matter how cheap it is. So it's crazy. I remember we sent out a bunch of mailers and started getting, I think the first week we got 27 houses under contract. The first week, 27 houses under contract. We had to cut 24 of them loose after they were under contract because they were all in these, unfortunately, these terrible war zones where investors wouldn't touch them. Some of these houses we were like livable houses we were putting out at $500, nobody would touch it. So we made that mistake in St. Louis of not analyzing the investor market that way. In Birmingham, we made a mistake of not analyzing the wholesaling market in Birmingham. Our tactic in Birmingham was to JV with another wholesaler in Birmingham, and we struggled with it for about a month. And we said, okay, what's going on? And then found out, okay, the the wholesaler market in Birmingham, they're like a $5,000 or a $6,000 assignment fee is really good for them. Like they're really happy with a $5,000 or $6,000 assignment fee. Well, when you're JVing on that deal, that's a $2,000 or a $3,000 assignment fee. And I've got $1,600 in every deal that we get. Like it cost me $1,600 to get a deal. So after me getting that deal, I made $400. So that model didn't work in Birmingham. And we're actually back in Birmingham selling our own deals. We don't do JVs down there anymore, and are doing fine with it. But at the time, that didn't work. And in Vegas, we did not understand the market well enough at all in Vegas. We picked the wrong areas. We're locking up deals too high. So we approached it the wrong way, thinking I'm a pretty like analytical guy. I can usually figure things out, especially if there's numbers involved. But that was a mistake. I relied on kind of my own knowledge. What we do now is we stalk the crap out of good wholesalers. So like we're not in Columbus, but if I wanted to go to Columbus, I'd call Andrew. I'd be like, hey Andrew, who are the biggest wholesalers in Columbus? And then I would go to their website. I would see what are the zip codes that they're selling in, what are the prices they're selling at. So I would really just go in and copy the people that are doing it well already in that market. And that's what I tell people all the time. I don't do any coaching or anything, but whenever somebody asks for my advice about, how to virtual wholesale or pick a market, I say you can wholesale in any market. You just need to copy what the people are doing already. Because if they can sell that house at $55,000, so can you. So that's what we do. We go into markets and we find out, when we went to Charlotte, it was okay. What's Max Maxwell? What's he doing? Like, what are his guys? What's Tommy Holt doing up there? In Atlanta, what's Brandon Barnes doing? What is he selling his deals at? So we make good collaborative relationships with these guys, and it works really well. So that's it.
Great tip. And we're even now, since I thought you were in Nashville and we're in Columbia, not Columbus. So
I'm sorry. it's even on the board right behind you. I missed it. Sorry.
Sure is. Yeah. I think we'll do one more question and then I'll cut you loose. And it doesn't have to be long, but the question is, how do you build a cash buyers list in that other market? And I'm sure you've got a trick for that.
So you've got time or you've got money, right? So if you have money, you can buy a cash buyers list. And there's ways to do that simply by researching. Like if you understand what you're looking at, you can do this literally from the county website in most states, and find out who's bought investment properties in that area, and there's your cash buyers list. So that's one way, but that takes money because you've got to take that data to get processed. So that takes money. If you don't have money but you have time, start with trolling all of the Facebook groups. I mean, we did a little experiment one night, and this is when we were in Birmingham. We literally just trolled one Facebook group for investors, and we picked up 50 email addresses of cash buyers just from going through and picking email addresses off of these little Facebook groups. So the other way, which my partner David Olds does this a lot, is he actually swaps lists with people. So if your list is pretty small and you just got maybe 50 or 100, go and see if there's somebody out there that'll trade lists with you. We do this all the time. We went from, when we moved into Atlanta, the Atlanta market, we went from, I think, 500 cash buyers, and I think we've got almost 14,000 cash buyers at this point, literally just by, like, we just keep trading up, I've got 500 cash buyers. Anybody else want to trade? And you just trade lists. So, man, that works. It works like a charm. So you can pick those off online. People put their email. Cash buyers love buying properties. So they're always in Facebook groups, investment groups, all of those Facebook groups. You can just literally go through there and pluck their email address off of it. So
that's great. Yeah. Perfect tip. All right. So Tag, I'm going to tell you, thank you for doing this, guys. This has been awesome. I hope you got some value out of it. I am going to, Well, I'll tell you all about our wholesaling workshop in just a second, but Tag, I put the link in the comments and at the YouTube page, but I will put it in our Facebook group and on the YouTube video when this saves and posts. So guys, if you want to go to it, it's a 7-day trial. And someone asked, what is the price? I know you charge monthly, but what is it? I think we get a discount, right?
Yeah, it's $39 a month. And if you use the coupon code Lucas, it will give you $10 off per month. So it's $29 a month for the product.
Okay, perfect. So we do want to give you guys that discount. If you decide to use it, again, I recommend it. We use it all the time. And Tag, I know you're on Facebook, and I think you may have joined our REI Live group. If not, I'll invite you, or you can join in. So if people have questions, they can shoot them at you. I know you're always at the computer, so you're welcome. You're always there to answer questions, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Again, appreciate it. Guys, I'll tell you, this has been a really awesome event. Thank you, Tag, for doing this. To be able to come together, gain some knowledge, what better time than right now to be working on your business from home? Tag's doing it at his office. We're going to be working from home. We're getting everything done. The world around us is shutting down, but business has to continue. So keep working, keep learning. Colleges have said, you know what, don't come back to campus, go learn online. You guys can learn everything online. You've got people here in our group, you've got other groups, and this is the time to really dive in and master the craft of real estate investing, whatever path you want to go. And to that end, if you go to our website, reilivecolumbia.com, just under the link for this webcast or the webinar is a link for the wholesale workshop. And this is kind of the brainchild of what we've been trying to, how we want to get our wholesaling knowledge to our group, to REI Live Columbia. And now, since we're doing online, it'll be open to everybody. We expect some other Columbia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, the rest of the country can join in because it's online now. So we're going to just share our wholesaling knowledge and give you action steps and give you tools. One of the tools will be this software, tools that you can use to run a business today. So that'll be on Friday. Check the link. If you're interested in that, sign up. You can do it there, and let's get going. If you've never done a deal, that will give you action steps to do it. If you've done a couple of deals, I'm going to give you the tools to really put in place for policies and procedures and strategies so that you can make a business out of it. So I'm excited to help with that. I hope you guys join. I hope we have a couple of you in there. If you can't do it, that's fine. Let me know. We'll do another one. But thank you all for joining in to REI Live's first and probably not the last virtual event. And so if you have comments, questions, REI Live Facebook group is the best place to do that, and the YouTube page as well. All right. So thank you again, Tag. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a great night. And end. There it is.